Chung, your go-to for all things marketing, mindset, and manifestation. I grew my online business from 0 to beyond 6 figures in 8 months. My purpose is to empower women to step into the highest, most aligned versions of themselves. If you are ready to take charge of your life, learn how to design a wildly successful business, and leave limiting beliefs behind, you've come to the right place. You will learn the actionable tips and step-by-step strategies on money, manifestation, and social media. It's time to step into your role as boss, to raise your vibration and tap into your unlimited potential today. Welcome to the Social Reset Podcast. Hey everyone. Today we're going to be talking about how I plan my launches and how I sell, and really talking about the energetics and structure of what that looks like behind the scenes. So I really want to do a solid breakdown for this and really be able to show you kind of an overview in terms of planning, in terms of how I plan specific launches and when, and also how I'm consistently making money without over hustling, overworking, or jumping on coaching calls all the time. Because you all see me, I'm working, but when I'm working, it's very intentional work. I only work a couple of days a week, and I'm not working for long hours. I'm also not jumping on coaching calls back to back, and I make a good amount of money, solid, I would say at this point, 30 to 60K months on average, but they go up to 70K, 80K, and 90K months as well, depending on what I'm launching and what the month looks like, right? So yeah, let's get into it. Let me put the title in the comments and we'll get started. I'm also happy to answer specific questions as it comes to launching, flow, energetic, structure. I'm going to break down all of the structure and strategy in my business right now that I can think of. And I'm also going to talk about how I incorporate some of the flow in my business as well, and where the money comes from. What does my product suite look like? How did I kind of build that over time? So I really want to give you a good overview, and I want to give you a really good breakdown so you can take this and do whatever you want with it, right? If you want to kind of look at if you want to create a similar model, which I'm assuming most of you do, if you want to create a similar business model, this is really, really, really useful. So stay tuned. I'm going to be sharing all that good stuff, answering any questions. First of all, the way that I essentially define structure, flow, energetics, right? I really see it as more masculine, feminine energies. Again, these are not, it has nothing to do with gender. Masculine is more of the doing, and feminine is more of the being. It's more of the like being in your body, allowing flow, downloading, channeling, etc. Strategy and structure is a little bit more of like, how am I going to execute it? What is it going to look like? When is it going to happen? More of the kind of nitty gritty, more of the action and momentum, right? So in terms of structure in tech and platforms, I mainly use, and you really only need like Zoom, some type of scheduling platform, some type of course portal. If you're not doing a course, then you probably only need Zoom, email, and a scheduler. I use Zoom, Calendly for scheduling, Kajabi for all my courses, Instagram and email for my marketing. I use Slack to communicate with my team. And there are a couple of other things that I pay for on the side. Like I use Flowdesk for email. I use Typeform for my forms. You can also use Google Forms as well. But my expenses in terms of tech, it's not really, like I keep it as minimal as possible. Other structure that I have in my business, especially when it comes to launching, is really focusing on what are the parameters that are going to support the flow of this launch, right? So for example, what I like to start with are deadlines and dates. That way I can start talking about it and sharing specific things without having every single thing created and articulated. Creating deadlines and dates allows me to start marketing and actually selling without having to create all the nitty-gritty details. So for example, if I'm planning a mini course and it's like, 3 weeks long and it has like a couple of live calls, I know I want to do it. So I'd look at my calendar and make sure it's not overlapping with any other launches, right? So I would choose specific dates for how long I want it to be. And I would make sure that I'm choosing dates where I have at least 1 to 2, most of the time 2 to 3 weeks in advance to promote it and make sure I have enough time selling it, okay? I typically do not, unless it's very spur of the moment, I typically don't create something and sell it the same day. I typically create something, decide the dates and the deadline, make sure there's 2 to 3 weeks for a hype phase. And then before the hype phase, I have what I call like a tease phase. Like on my stories, you'll see me teasing something. You'll see me talking about something that's going to come, but I don't tell you what the name of it is. I might tell you what to expect. I might tell you like little nuggets, and I start dropping more and more and more hints as the date comes closer. So that's the main thing I'm looking at when I'm launching, is it's not overlapping with any other main offers. I typically plan my big launches ahead of time before the year even starts. So before 2023, this year, before it started, I knew when I was going to launch BAA, and I knew when I was going to launch my mastermind, which is Magic Mind. So Magic Mind is 6 months long. I can only launch that 2 times a year. And one of those launches is gonna go into the next year. So I know right off the bat, that's not something I'm offering over and over and over throughout the year. BAA, for example, is an evergreen program. It's not a cohort. People can join anytime, right? It's my foundational signature course. I think of it as my Magic Business School. So it's a one-time enrollment fee and people get lifetime access. So that's something I can launch kind of whenever I want. I typically don't even launch it because it's evergreen. People can join it at any time. So my launches are typically like a discounted price, which is like a launch price. So typically it's $55.55. Like if you were to join today, it would be $55.55, but I am actually launching it in a couple of weeks, and that entire week you get $1,000 off, or like 1111 off. So during that week, it would be $44.44. So that's kind of the push that people are going to see in order to buy. It's a special price. It's a special launch price, right? So knowing that BAA, in terms of support that I'm offering, I am not in there coaching every single week. I'm coaching a couple times a month, but it's pretty low effort. It's a 6-module system that people go through on their own. It's self-paced, and then they have those live coaching calls. My mastermind, for example, we're meeting pretty much weekly, and I'm always in Slack coaching them. My Magic Mind is a $10K investment. And so the higher the investment, the more support, right? One-on-one gets the most support from me. Magic Mind gets a lot of support from me. BAA gets a good amount of support from me, actually, because I'm jumping in there doing live coaching calls several times a month, right? The lower support is like my mini courses, like $333, $555. I don't know why I'm saying it like that. $555. Those types of mini courses are typically very low support. I still over deliver and give a lot to anything I do. Even my free masterclasses, if you've come to my free classes, like, I'm on there for like 90 minutes to 2 hours sometimes, coaching everyone, answering all the questions, like responding in the DMs. Like, I love to over deliver. That's just a part of who I am as a business owner. Like that's probably not going to change. But I want you to see the differentiation between offers and support. And that really helps me to structure my launches. Yeah. Kevin said, I never thought about evergreen programs. Yeah. I love an evergreen structure, especially if it's something that I've created and tested and it's a process that really works for me. I don't recommend jumping straight into offering something like that. But if you have a process that you've tried with your people and you know that it works and it feels good to you and you kind of just want to let it run and let it be self-paced and always open, it's such a good option because so many reasons, right? And it's not going to be for everyone. I don't think that everybody loves evergreen structures. You have to really you're going to have to commit to certain things, like with BAA. One thing that I love about it being evergreen is everyone is there, that they're stuck with me, right? So that evergreen structure, it's always open. And this is essentially it's like a family, right? Anyone who joins in, it's a one-time enrollment fee and we're all in there together and you get coaching calls with me every single month. I honestly think it's a really smart idea. And I don't see too many coaches implementing this type of offer and business plan in their business. But I actually think it's so good because my Business Activation Academy students end up joining my masterminds and the mini minds and different, they get access to different mini courses and masterclasses, but a lot of them turn into one-on-one students, right? So I'm able to serve them in different ways. So yeah, let's go over the product suite a little bit, right? Which I kind of touched on already. So typically when you enter my world, there is the lowest support and lowest investment, which is anything that's free content, right? If you're just binging my podcast, I'm not jumping on coaching calls with you because that's not the agreement, right? So free content is available to everybody. That's something I'm always going to offer. And then a level up are my mini courses. My mini courses are typically priced anywhere between $333, $555, $777, something like that. Something really, really lower ticket, and you get a lower amount of support. So typically you get maybe a couple of coaching calls, maybe one, maybe a little bit more than that. Maybe there's a Facebook group, but oftentimes it's just live calls or it's pre-recorded material that you go through on your own. Okay, so that's the second level. And then the third level for me is, and everyone's business model is going to look a little bit different, but for me, I jump from my mini courses, which I don't offer these too often. There are some creators and coaches that will pump out mini courses all the time, and that's a part of their launch strategy and sales strategy, and it's perfect, right? That works great if you love that. I really love BAA, and I don't see myself getting tired of it because it's already something that I've created. I feel so good about it. I love coaching in it. I love coaching that community. And so it's an evergreen program that I feel good about talking about over and over. If you're the kind of person that's nope, I need something new every single month, then evergreen might not be for you. But if you have a process where you're yeah, I love this, I could talk about this over and over and over and over and really stick with it, then an evergreen model could be really beneficial for you. BAA alone has created over multi six figures of revenue. I think it's 250,000 or something like that, something crazy just from one course. Okay. And that course is $55.55. So people pay $55.55 to enter the world. They get lifetime access to the academy, and they get lifetime access to monthly, several coaching calls a month, every single month with me. It's almost like a membership, but it's a one-time payment, right? So that's what I have. And that is typically what you're seeing me talk about and point to over and over again. So that's kind of a higher ticket in my, I mean, yeah, it's like a mid to high based on some of my other investments. So you get like moderate support, right? Multiple coaching calls a month. And then from there, you go up into the mastermind, which is 10K. And again, that's like a lot more support. And then one-on-one, which is the most support. So if I know that one-on-one is going to take a good amount of time, because I do 90-minute calls for my one-on-ones, okay? And if I know that I want to be making more money and I have my processes that I can sell and offer, I'm probably not going to spend most of my time selling tons and tons of one-on-ones, right? Why? Because I don't want to be on one-on-one calls back to back to back. It's also something, knowing my energy, knowing my human design, knowing the way that I communicate with my students. I'm a really, really great group coaching coach. I'm a really great group coaching leader. I feed off of everyone in the group. Everyone, even if they didn't get coached, always says, wow, I had a breakthrough. Literally every single, I cannot think of a call where someone was like, wow, my mind was blown, right? Like I can't think of a call where someone didn't say something like that to me. I'm great at group coaching. I'm also great at one-on-one, but it takes more time and it takes more energy. So if I know I love group coaching and I'm really good at it and I'm able to serve more people, I'm going to focus a lot of my efforts on the group containers, aka Magic Mind, which is my 10K mastermind, Mini Minds, which I offer only for my BAA students, and I offer pre-sales and like launch prices for the people who get in during those launch periods, which I'll get into launch deadlines in a second. So yeah, if I know that that's the thing, I'm going to focus a lot of my efforts on group programs and creating group programs because I love it, right? I really enjoy it. You can definitely scale with one-on-one, but it's also going to take a lot of time. It's going to have to be something you really love. Typically, you do one-on-one and you offer other things, right? And a lot of people start with one-on-one, which is actually what I recommend, even though there's no right or wrong way to do it. You could totally start with a course. But a lot of people start with one-on-one to build that experience because you gain so I wouldn't be in my business right now if I didn't start with one-on-one, like 100%. And that's just me, right? Someone else can totally start somewhere else and gain experience that way. But for me, I know I wouldn't be where I am right now if I didn't do hella one-on-ones. Okay. I coached, oh my God, so many people one-on-one, so many before I did group. And once I started doing group, I was like, oh yeah, I love this shit. Right? And you also don't have to do one-on-ones forever. You can do it for a while and then just transition right into group after you've gained some confidence and experience. I think it's a really good place to start, but of course you don't have to start there. Especially if you know your energy and you know yourself, right? But it doesn't hurt to try, especially with like beta practice clients. You can just coach a couple people for free one-on-one, gain some experience, get some testimonials and results, and then launch a group program or launch a course or launch something else, right? Everyone's business is going to look different. And if you want customized, personalized support and coaching to launch a specific program or to gain really, really great client results, and really build your business and market and really hone in on your sales process to attract more and more aligned clients, DM me, let's talk. We can talk about which offer would make the most sense for you. Okay. All right. So let's talk a little bit more about launching. So as you all know, I'm a pretty flowy entrepreneur. That's something that I pride myself in just because it's who I am. So leaning into it makes me feel really good. Everyone's going to be a little bit different on that spectrum. So there's no right or wrong. Some of us are just a little bit more masculine leaning. Some of us are a little bit more feminine leaning, right? A lot of this has to do with our energy, our human design arrows. our conditioning, right? Oh, so many things play into this. There's no right or wrong, right? And there's also no perfect balance of creating structure and energetics in your business. Everyone's business plan is going to look a little bit different. So for me, I know that I lean more into the flow. So there are specific things that I create in terms of structure and strategy that I know will help me flow even more. So like I mentioned earlier, I gave that example of not even having, material for a masterclass or a mini course that I'm launching, but I have the dates and I'm already selling it, right? That is an example of a flowy person being in flow and really honoring that flow. So for someone who's really analytical, that might stress them the fuck out, right? Not having any material and selling it, like that might really make their nervous system go into overdrive, but I could do something like that. I've literally done it for every program I've ever sold. So, I typically don't create something until well, it's different now with certain things that I've created curriculum for or material for. But if it's something like a mini course or a masterclass, I can typically just create the structure. So the structure is setting the dates, setting the deadlines of when it's going to happen and the time I'm going to create promoting it. And then I can actually start selling it without having created any of the material yet. And actually what happens there, because it's a very energetic process for me, is once I start selling it, then the material starts channeling and I start downloading it. Not everyone works this way and not everyone wants to work this way, right? But for me, once I get closer and closer to the date, I start channeling more and more. I start putting down more notes. I can't force it out of me. There are some things that are just meant to come through me and I honor that process. And when I honor that process, I find that I create so much more abundance and fire and magnetism and magic in my containers because I'm honoring that. I'm not just forcing something out there for the sake of, I need to get it done right away. I'm going to force myself to get it done, right? Like that just doesn't work for me. So something else that I like to think about as I am planning my deadlines is like, okay, so here's a really good example. I don't allow my programs to overlap and I think about the program and I think about the offer and the amount of support that goes into each thing. So for example, I just did a 6-week mini mind and while that was going, I also launched and enrolled for my Magic Mind Mastermind, okay? But all I did was enroll. I'm not starting the mastermind until April, right? So April, Magic Mind starts and it goes for 6 months. I am now, the first mini mind has closed up and now I'm in pre-sale for another mini mind, but that mini mind is not even going to overlap with the start of Magic Mind. It's starting a month after, right? So that way I've already settled in. I'm not doing anything crazy in the month of May. April is kind of my crazy month. I'm doing in-person things. I'm kicking off the mastermind. The mastermind has a 3-day live event, an in-person dinner, and an in-person kickoff event. We're also doing a challenge for the first month. So I know I'm not going to be doing anything big in the month of April. Yeah, I'm not going to be doing anything crazy. If I'm launching something, I would be doing it after that period. And the mini mind that I'm launching for in pre-sale for is not going to start until May. So the first week of May. I'm also launching BAA as well, but because BAA is a program that again is evergreen and I already have scheduled calls for it on the calendar, it doesn't overlap with anything because it's a program that's already been created. It's not something that I'm having to spend a bunch of time creating curriculum for, a bunch of time recording, a bunch of time coaching. It's already something I'm doing. So launching BAA actually takes very, very little effort because it's a course that already exists. I'm just funneling more people into it and doing the exact same things if those people joined or not, right? So that way I have the potential to make money from BAA, from mini courses. If I sell any other one-on-one spots, Magic Mind is not selling again until August because, again, it's a 6-month commitment, right? So that's typically where my money comes from. And then I have recurring payments from payment plans that essentially, cross over each month. So that's something that's in the loop as well. And then I also do, like the mini minds I mentioned, that's part of BAA. So those are kind of like, those are smaller, like 6-week cohorts, which are a lot easier to launch and manage. So because I have all of this in my head, and it's really easy for me to decipher because I'm the one that created these offers, and I'm the one that knows like what I want it to look like throughout the year. It really helps me to create flow in between. So if I know I'm launching in April and in May, maybe June is a month where I just leave it open, right? Maybe I do masterclass, maybe I do, I don't know, something else. Like I do something fun or something that's kind of like lower support because I've just been launching for a couple of weeks, then that's something I can filter in. Or I can leave that month open because I just had 2 big launch months because I'm launching, I just remembered, I'm launching BAA and the Mini Mind in April, and then I'm launching in May. So I know that those 2 months are going to be higher cash months. So by the time June rolls around, I might not actually want to launch anything unless I really, really want to and something comes to me, right? I might not want to launch anything that month and just take it as a chill month. Because if I'm making like 40K, 50K, in the months before, then what I can focus on selling instead is, whether it's one-on-ones, if I haven't filled specific spots, or I can sell BAA, which is always open. So I can just create content towards that. And that's something that I can focus on that doesn't have to be super hands-on, right? So the way I differentiate that and divide that up is commitment, deadlines, offer duration, right? So some of them are 2 weeks long, some of them are 6 months long. And those are the things that I decide. And then from there, I allow myself to create flow in between, right? Like I mentioned, channeling, topics for a masterclass, channeling the material for a mini course, specific things that really just come to me as I'm prepping, as I'm launching, as I'm in creation mode. It really helps me to create that structure. Trying to think if there's anything else that I want to mention here. I think that's pretty much it. There are also going to be different seasons in your business that have to do with like, for example, if you really, really, really feel like you haven't been taking action and the thing that you really need is you need to create more momentum, then you're going to want to create more dates, deadline, structure, strategy, right? But if you feel like you've been overdoing it with the masculine and you really want to create some more flow, then that's something you're going to want to incorporate in your business instead. So there are going to be different seasons in your business, and strategy and flow are going to come hand in hand, right? It isn't about which one is better. It isn't about which one should, be like more of a ratio. It's not quantifiable necessarily. It's more so what you need in your business in specific times in your business and what you're birthing in your business and what the spirit of your business is guiding you towards, right? So it's not necessarily like, okay, this month, this is what I'm doing for this launch. It's going to be 50% strategy and 50% flow. Okay, now I'm going to go into flow mode. Okay, it's like you can't plan out how this is going to look. A lot of this is also learned through experience. The only reason I know how to set my launches up this way and not to overlap things is because I overlapped a bunch of shit. I over hustled. I did launches where it didn't work out for my specific energy. I planned out way too much, or I didn't plan at all. So now I've created a structure in my business that works for my specific energy, not necessarily just my human design, but just my energy levels. And I also work that in within my bleed cycle. So I'm never launching, even though I have done this in the past, is very exhausting. I don't typically launch when I'm bleeding. I'm typically launching when I'm ovulating, right? So I time everything, and I'm very specific about this. And I only know this because I've made a lot of mistakes and I've created a lot of, what's the right word? Exhaustion from doing things against the grain, against my energy, against the way that I'm meant to do things in my business. So if you don't have all of this articulated and clear, that's totally fine. It just means that you're going to have to experiment a little more and create that clarity in your business so that you understand your energy levels, and so that you understand how you want to launch, and so that you understand specific things about your offer, your people, yourself, in order to create money in an effortless way. You're going to have to put in more work in the meantime and in the beginning sometimes, like up front, in order to create effortlessness. And I know that sounds kind of contradictory, but the only way you can get to more effortless launching and effortless selling is if you do things that you're not meant to do. And if you make mistakes, and you're never going to know what are mistakes and what is alignment if you don't put yourself out there and run some experiments and try some different things, right? So keep that in mind. Okay, I think that's pretty much it that I want to share for this specific training. If you have any questions, let me know. I am doing it's like a pre-sale right now for BAA's Mini Mind. So if you know you're either wanting to start a coaching business or a service-based business as a healer, as a magician, as a mystic, as a mentor, as an instructor, and you don't know where to start, and you want to start from square one, connecting with your magic, designing your offer, learning how to market and sell, BAA is for you. Or you're the person that's already started your business, but you're not really seeing the momentum and the rhythm that you'd like to. You're not seeing the results as you'd like to. Or maybe you see them, but it's very hot and cold. It's kind of like popcorning. You want to be able to create that more effortlessly in a very aligned way in your business. Then Business Activation Academy is the perfect place for you. It's like a one-stop shop. It's a one-time enrollment fee of $55.55. And you get lifetime access to the modules and the live coaching calls that happen every single month. So I'm doing a pre-sale for that. And I'm also doing a pre-sale for the Mini Mind, which is 6 weeks. You can only join the Mini Mind if you're in BAA. So it's a BAA Mini Mind. 6 weeks, it's a cohort, and we start in May. And we get 6 weekly live coaching calls. This is for you if you know you want to make the most of BAA, which is a self-paced course. And so if you know you want the accountability, you know you want to be in a mastermind style of a container, then you definitely want to join us inside the Mini Mind. We're going to be doing sales challenges, content challenges. You have private Slack coaching, and we'll be able to send things back and forth for feedback, for coaching, etc. If you want your copy looked at, you want your content, messaging, marketing, offer, you want your sales process and strategies looked at with my eyeballs on it, then the Mini Mind is for you if you want that personalized, zoomed in feedback for 6 entire weeks. And then you get lifetime access to BAA after that, and all of the live coaching calls every single month, including all the recorded coaching calls before you joined, which is worth the investment alone. Okay, I have a question. What do you do in the pre-sale period? Typically in the pre-sale period, I will talk about it on my stories. I'll tease it I'll create some call to actions. I might create a wait list, which I did. So I have several people on my wait list, and I sent out specific details and exact investments to the wait list. So if you're on the wait list, you have all those details. You're able to jump in. I'm chatting in the DM. Sometimes during the pre-sale period, I will actually reach out to specific people that have either mentioned wanting to join, or it's someone I've worked with already and I'm like, ooh, they would be really great in this. I'm going to reach out to them and explain exactly why I want them in here and why I think like what we can work on together. But I'm very, very, very selective. I don't do that very often unless I'm really like, yes, this person mentioned wanting to be in here, so I'm going to DM them, or I think that they're going to do so well. So not cold DMing anyone. It's either people I've worked with or someone who's mentioned wanting to be in, and I'm just popping back in and reminding them, hey, this is available now, right? What's included in BAA? So all of the modules, we have 6 core modules, and it's everything from uncovering and connecting with your magic. So if you don't know what you want to coach on, this is why I say BAA is literally, you can start at square one and literally launch your entire coaching business. I've had people who didn't even know they wanted to become a coach, but joined BAA anyway because they just felt a nudge. And now they're making like 5K, 10K, 15K months in their business as an official coach, right? So the first module is connecting with your magic, connecting with that secret sauce. And then you design your coaching offer. All right. So you design your offer, you put a price on it, you decide what it looks like, you decide the transformation, and then we work on your messaging. How are you talking about your offer? How are you creating converting content so that people are not just going, that sounds nice, but you're actually creating clients that are going, oh my God, I need to be in that right now. Like, how can I pay you? Right. I think that's one of the best things that people take away from BAA is like, this really loyal community and clients that they build, and they learn how to sell. They learn how to market. You learn how to launch your offer. So it's literally everything from step 1 to launching your coaching program, everything you need in between. We also have like an entire sales call. Like, how do you run a sales call? How do you sell in the DMs? How do you launch your offer on Instagram? If you're working with beta clients, like say you don't work with paid clients right away, you work with practice clients, how do you attract practice clients? And how do you create results for the clients you're working with? Right? And I teach you how to do this in a very step-by-step, it's like a strategy plus energetics program. So if you have any other questions, you can DM me on that and we can talk a little bit more. Again, I'm doing pre-sale for BAA and pre-sale for the mini minds. So that pre-sale bundle is the lowest it's ever going to be right now, and prices are going to go up soon. So if you know you want to be coached by me in this mini mind container with my eyeballs on your marketing, your offer, your sales, your messaging, your beliefs, your mindset, your magic, your launch plan, all that good stuff, you definitely want to DM me and we can talk more about it. And I'm already signing some of the students inside the mini mind, which is going to be another great round. Last round was so much fun. All right, I will let you all go and enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you so much for hopping onto this live. Again, if you have any questions, just DM me. I always answer my DMs. And yeah, I appreciate you all. Thank you for being here and have a beautiful rest of your day and night wherever you are. All right, bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe. If this episode resonated with you, please take a screenshot, share it on your Instagram stories, and tag me at tiffanychung.co. I truly appreciate interacting with every one of you. Catch you all on the next one.